Uh, he's bringing me to blood pressure, and he's having me talk about, unfortunately, men on that side having susceptibilities to kind of quick heart attacks.
Yep.
Well, it's multifaceted. It kind of depends on the context of, personal regret of the person who passes, or even the regret we feel when someone passes as far as how maybe we could have handled things better.
At 30, Tyler Henry just broke his silence, and what he finally admitted has shaken fans to the core. For a decade, the world's most famous medium allegedly buried secrets about an illness, a grandmother convicted of double murder, and rumors that every reading was a scripted con. Now, facing his third brain surgery and a wave of skeptics, Tyler has reportedly stopped hiding the truth. What really happened behind the cameras? And what does he have to say about the rumors? Join us as we explore the truth behind Tyler Henry's claims. The fraud allegations that never went away. For almost 10 years, one accusation has followed Tyler Henry everywhere he goes: the word fraud. And no matter how many celebrities cried on his couch, no matter how many tears fell on Netflix, the skeptics never backed down. Critics have argued for years that Tyler is not speaking to the dead at all. They claim he is using something called cold reading, a technique where a performer studies body language, tosses out vague statements, and lets the grieving person fill in the blanks. That accusation has haunted him from his very first episode of Hollywood Medium in 2016. According to a detailed investigation published by The Outline in 2016, skeptical activists, including scientific skepticism leader Susan Gerbic, have openly called Tyler a so-called grief vampire, someone who allegedly feeds off people's sorrow for fame and profit. The Center for Inquiry in Los Angeles even offered a $100,000 prize to any medium who could prove supernatural ability under controlled conditions. Tyler, reportedly, has never taken the test. Critics say that silence is the loudest confession of all. Things went south fast after that reading with former Today Show host Matt Lauer. Tyler spent the segment rambling about dead relatives, old pocket knives, and fishing trips. Apparently, the spirits forgot to mention the massive misconduct scandal that was about to end Matt's career just 12 months later. The internet did what it does best and tore into him. People in the comments were asking the obvious question: if someone claims to see the afterlife, they should probably notice a giant PR nightmare standing right in the room. That single failure ruined the illusion. The public trust didn't just break. It started a slow, ugly collapse that hasn't stopped since. Even other mediums have reportedly questioned his approach. Reddit forums dedicated to analyzing his readings describe moments where Tyler allegedly struggles for words, drops generic guesses, and waits for the celebrity to correct him before landing on the supposedly accurate message. Skeptics say that is not clairvoyance, that is theater. And for years, Tyler refused to address it head-on. According to an analysis cited by Nikki Swift, Tyler's readings allegedly follow patterns common to every television medium before him: vague predictions, a tendency to steer clear of controversial topics, and a reliance on personal tragedy as emotional leverage. Critics say the formula is so consistent that it can be mapped, move by move, from one reading to the next. But at 30, everything changed. Because the man who built his empire on silence finally began to speak. And the first thing he confirmed was something nobody expected. The Dark family's secret Tyler hid for years. Long before he became the Hollywood medium, Tyler grew up in a small town in California called Hanford with his mother, Teresa. To the world, they looked like any other loving family. But buried under that calm surface was a secret so dark that, when it finally came to light, it allegedly changed everything fans thought they knew about Tyler's gift. The woman Teresa had called Mother her entire life was not her biological mother. She was a convicted double murderer, According to a 2022 report by Today, Teresa took an at-home DNA test in 2019 and discovered that the woman who raised her, Stella Guidry Nestle, was not related to her at all. Stella, according to historical newspaper records from the Fowler Ensign, had been sentenced to 2 concurrent life terms in prison for torturing and murdering 2 people when Teresa was just 12 years old. For decades, Teresa lived unaware. And for decades, Tyler did readings for other families' tragedies, while allegedly never knowing his own family carried one of the darkest ones of all. When Tyler finally turned the cameras on his own bloodline for the 2022 Netflix series Life After Death, something bizarre happened. The Hollywood medium, who could reportedly describe a stranger's dead uncle in perfect detail, suddenly could not read his own family. In the show, he admitted that when he held a necklace belonging to his biological grandmother, he felt nothing. For the first time, he said, he did not feel like a medium. He just felt like a scared human being. The skeptics finally had their gotcha moment. The logic was simple. If Tyler actually talked to the dead, his own family should have been the easiest ones to reach. When he couldn't do it, people called the whole thing a scam. Tyler tried to claim that being too close to the person blocks the spiritual signal. True believers bought it, but everyone else just laughed. It became a massive mess for his reputation. To make things even weirder, reports on his Netflix series showed he had to hire an investigative genealogist named Pamela Slatton. He needed her to dig through actual records to find the truth about his family. It turns out the Hollywood medium couldn't rely on a psychic vision to solve his own history and had to settle for old-fashioned paperwork instead. Still, the secret of Stella, the convicted killer grandmother, was only one layer of the story. Because what Tyler revealed next would send fans into a spiral. The secret marriage nobody saw coming. For almost 10 years, Tyler refused to talk about his personal life. Fans begged for details. Tabloids speculated. And through it all, he kept one name quietly tucked out of reach: Clint Godwin. Clint, a painter, musician, and photographer, had been in Tyler's life since 2016, when he reportedly came in for a private reading, and, in one of Tyler's own words, became the best premonition he ever had. But for nearly a decade, Tyler dodged every wedding question, every engagement rumor, and every attempt to drag his relationship into the spotlight. Then, on May 7, 2025, he shocked everyone. According to People, and confirmed by an IMDb report, Tyler and Clint quietly walked into the Beverly Hills courthouse and got married. No red carpet, no paparazzi, no big televised wedding special. Just 2 signatures, a clock that allegedly hit 2:22 as they signed the papers, which Clint later called a sign from his late grandfather, and a single Instagram post that broke the internet. "Life with you," Tyler wrote, "is an endless sleepover." But what fans did not know at the time was why the wedding happened so suddenly. Tyler later confirmed in an interview with E! News that he had rushed the marriage because of something far darker than romance. He was about to go under the knife. A brain tumor had returned. And he and Clint, reportedly, wanted legal protections in case Tyler did not survive the surgery. They got married, he said, just in case anything went wrong. For a man who built his fame predicting other people's futures, Tyler was allegedly terrified of his own. Critics had spent years mocking him for his inability to foresee disasters in his own life. This was the moment that proved their point, but also silenced them. Because the story Tyler was about to confirm was not about lies or cold reading. It was about survival. And what came next was a medical nightmare that almost ended everything. The brain tumor he lived with for a decade. When Tyler was 18, something happened that he reportedly claimed he had predicted. He collapsed. Doctors discovered a mass in his brain, an arachnoid cyst he had been born with, and rushed him into emergency surgery. According to a 2022 Tudum interview and his own 2014 Facebook post, Tyler said his brain was swelling in its own fluids and that only 24 hours before the diagnosis, he had been jogging and working in his garden. That surgery saved his life. But what nobody knew at the time was that it would come back to haunt him again and again. 10 years later, the cyst returned. This time, it was a different kind of mass altogether, a colloid tumor, according to a Pacific Brain Tumor Center definition cited by TV Insider in November 2025. Colloid tumors are rare, with Tyler himself telling E! News the condition has an incidence rate of 1 in 3 million. He reportedly joked that he should play the lottery. But behind the joke was real fear. The tumor was causing hydrocephalus, a dangerous buildup of fluid around the brain, and only surgery could stop it. In May 2025, Tyler underwent his second major brain surgery just days after marrying Clint. He bounced back fast. Within weeks, he was back on stage performing live readings as part of his An Evening of Hope and Healing tour. But the victory did not last. By October, the swelling came back. And on November 13, 2025, according to Deadline and TV Insider, Clint confirmed on Instagram that Tyler had undergone his third brain operation in just 6 months. They say the third time is a charm, Clint wrote. Fans were shaken. For years, Tyler had kept the severity of his condition private, allegedly afraid that skeptics would use it as ammunition to explain away his visions as hallucinations caused by brain pressure. Indeed, some critics had already whispered that his whole career was a byproduct of neurological illness, not spiritual gifts. Tyler reportedly refused to dignify the theory, but behind closed doors, according to interviews with E! News, he admitted that not having brain inflammation after his May 2025 surgery actually made his readings clearer, not cloudier. That one detail allegedly blew a hole in the skeptics' favorite theory. If the tumor was supposedly causing the visions, why did removing the tumor sharpen them? Neither side had a clean answer, and the mystery only deepened. But at 30, with his scalp scarred 3 times over, Tyler finally stopped hiding. And the next admission would make headlines around the world. The wildly accurate prediction that broke the internet. Every time skeptics try to bury Tyler Henry, one question keeps dragging him back into the spotlight. How does he get some of these readings so eerily right? In early 2025, that question exploded into a global controversy. Actress and former talk show host Ricki Lake took to Instagram after the devastating Los Angeles wildfires and claimed that Tyler had reportedly predicted her house would burn down 3 months before it actually did. According to the list, citing the Instagram post directly, she wrote that he saw the fire coming. The clip went viral. In an October 2024 episode of the Netflix show Live from the Other Side, Tyler allegedly told Ricki and her husband that a story would emerge involving a house fire or fire risk in their lives. At the time, viewers laughed it off as another vague Tyler Henry guess. But when the Los Angeles fires broke out in January 2025 and Ricki's home was among those lost, the footage resurfaced. Believers declared it undeniable proof. Skeptics scrambled to explain it away. Ricki wasn't the only one buying into the hype. The original producer of Hollywood Medium, Michael Corbett, told TV Insider he was a massive skeptic when he first met a teenage Tyler in Beverly Hills. That changed during a private reading. Tyler supposedly started describing 2 people in Corbett's life who had committed suicide. He included details so specific and grim that Corbett claimed they weren't anywhere on the internet. By the time the session ended, the skepticism was gone. Corbett was so convinced that he helped dream up the entire Hollywood medium show right then and there. Critics aren't impressed by the occasional lucky guess. They focus on the misses, the vague rambling, and the moments where Tyler is clearly fishing for a reaction from the room. One analysis in The Guardian even noted that his tactics can be so obvious they feel like a parody of a psychic. Even on his Netflix series, viewers get to watch him struggle through a list of possibilities while waiting for someone to give him a desperate nod of approval. People who want to believe call that honesty. Everyone else calls it a basic cold reading technique. At 30, Tyler finally addressed the divide head-on. And what he said shocked both sides. The confession that changed everything. For years, Tyler had one answer whenever skeptics asked if he was faking it. He would smile, calmly defend his gift, and move on. But in late 2025, as his 30th birthday approached and his third brain surgery loomed, something in him reportedly snapped. In interviews leading up to his tour and the release of Live from the Other Side, Tyler allegedly admitted, for the first time, that he does not know exactly what he is doing. He only knows that something is happening, and it is not something he can fully control. According to an Outline investigation from years earlier, Tyler had once said that he would love to undergo scientific testing to figure out the extent of what this actually is. In 2018, he reportedly even allowed Dr. Drew Pinsky to hook him up to a brain monitor during a reading. The results, according to E! News reporting and The Things, were strange. His blood pressure dropped dramatically. He was visibly sweating. Dr. Drew allegedly concluded that Tyler was not in a normal neurological state, though he stopped short of calling him a true psychic. That medical scare stuck with Tyler for a long time. It forced the question of whether he actually has a gift or just a brain condition that looks like one. Now that he's 30 and has survived 3 brain surgeries and years of people calling him a fraud, he seems to have given up on the debate. He told interviewers that he's accepted the fact that he can't prove his work with science. He isn't even trying anymore. According to him, the whole point is just to give people comfort. He told one outlet that it doesn't matter if the message comes from a ghost or just his own head, as long as the person feels better. It was a confession, but not a full one. Believers heard it as humility. Skeptics heard it as an admission. But for the first time ever, Tyler openly embraced the gray zone between science and spirit. He no longer claimed to have all the answers, and he no longer acted like he needed to. But there was one more rumor still waiting to be confirmed, and this one involved the rumor that allegedly built his entire brand. The rumor about his celebrity clients. One of the oldest whispers in Hollywood is that Tyler Henry's celebrity clients are in on the act. Reddit threads, YouTube deep dives, and even a 2024 Skeptical Inquirer piece, cited by The List, have accused him of giving fake readings to fading stars looking for publicity, turning each episode into what critics have called a coordinated commercial disguised as clairvoyance. For nearly a decade, Tyler refused to respond to the accusation. At 30, he reportedly addressed it for the first time. Interviews released around the launch of Live from the Other Side finally dropped a tiny, predictable bombshell. Tyler confirmed that producers on his shows actually vet the guests. They don't just pick people off the street, they handpick exactly who walks through the door. Tyler still claims he has no clue who they are until they sit down, but he admitted the selection process isn't random. That admission gave fans a lot to think about. Skeptics have been saying for years that cold reading is a joke, once the producers narrow down the guest's demographic before the cameras even start rolling. Tyler didn't take the accusations of staging his celebrity sessions lying down. He told interviewers that anyone who thinks Hollywood stars are faking those breakdowns for ratings has no idea how hard it is to fake actual grief on camera. He also brought up his session with Boy George to prove a point. According to reports from 2025, the musician spent the entire time visibly annoyed and resisting everything Tyler said. Despite the attitude, Boy George still walked away looking rattled and uncomfortable. But Tyler, allegedly, is not naive. He has reportedly acknowledged that some readings on his older shows were heavily edited, that some moments were trimmed to make him look sharper than he was, and that television, by its nature, shapes the truth for drama. What fans saw, he implied, was never the full picture. It was a version of the truth crafted to keep them watching. That is partly why, according to Netflix's own Too Dumb coverage, his 2024 series Live from the Other Side was filmed in a more unedited, live audience format, allegedly as a direct response to years of accusations that the heavy editing on Hollywood medium was hiding his misses. That confession, coming at 30, reshaped everything fans thought about the Hollywood medium. Because if the cameras lied, what was real? And if Tyler himself was questioning the very format that made him famous, where does the Hollywood medium go from here? So after all the rumors, the surgeries, the secrets, and the confessions, do you think Tyler Henry is the real deal? Or the most convincing performer of our time? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives like this one. And click the next video on your screen. You'll love it.